Wouldn't it be great if you could just flip a switch and save some money?
We're going to share some ideas that might make that wish a reality.
Today on PowerHouse, we'll bring light to the darkness in an innovative way.
We'll take a look at how your home office can be functional and efficient.
And we'll look at a couple of options to streamline and update a few of your lighting choices.
Turn on the spotlight because we're ready to light up your world on this week's PowerHouse. Lighting is an essential part of our everyday lives. Being able to clearly see what we're doing makes things a whole lot easier, especially in a kitchen and a work area. Joining us to talk about lighting options is Kim Miller with Illuminate Lighting. And Kim, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Let's talk first about under cabinet lighting. What are we talking about there, Kim?
Basically, it is exactly what you said, lighting underneath your cabinet.
And why is that such a good option for homeowners?
There's several reasons. First of all, aesthetically, it looks amazing, as you can see here. And also for task lighting. If you do a lot of cooking, a lot of work on your counters, office spaces, it just gives you a lot of extra good task lighting.
Kim, let's talk about the options here.
Yes, this is going to be our LED tape light. It's exactly what it says. It's LED diodes on a piece of tape. You wire it up and stick it under your cabinet. You will need a driver, a power source. Either hide it in one of your cabinets or on top. This will transform the wires from 120 volt, which is the common voltage in a house, to 24 volt. With this LED tape light, you'll run the 120 in, and then this will just slide into this splicer here, and it will be powered up.
I do need I gotta have a light switch somewhere.
Yes,
right?
you will need a light switch for this one.
But that's one of the beauties of under cabinet lighting, right? Again, I can be very specific in when I want to use it, how I use it,
Yeah.
aesthetically pleasing, all of those options, right?
Yes, all the options for the most part that we carry here at Illuminate are dimmable. So if you want to use it as a night light in the evening or just some accent lighting, you can dim it down. You can also do it at different layers. Top and bottom have two different switches at two different dimming positions.
So you showed us the LED strip. What else?
This is going to be the power source, or the driver per se is actually in the light fixture itself already. The nice benefit to this is the switch is already on the light fixture, so you do not need to have an extra switch put in. You will have to shut them all off separately, but the switch is already in on that one.
Now for these, Kim, I would need an electrician most likely?
I would highly recommend it. They will have to run some wiring to underneath your cabinet, so it's going to be probably easier for the homeowner to have an electrician come.
Another option there are some battery options. That would be.
Yep, battery options is always a good option for that hard to reach spot that the electrician just cannot get wire into.
As I think about my kitchen counters, what else do I need to keep in mind in terms of the lighting there?
So we always visit with the customer about the lighting temperature that they would like, meaning the color of the light. The standard temperature that we go with is about 3000 K, K meaning Kelvin. So that's going to be a whitish light, not yellow, not blue. If a customer prefers more of a daylight, like being outside, they would want to go to like a 4500 or a 5000 Kelvin temperature.
But again, as we look here, you can really isolate what specifically you want to do, use minimal energy to do it, and really enhance our work areas as well, right?
Right. And the other beauty for the energy efficient with under cabinet lighting is you don't have to turn on all your lights. A lot of homes have several recessed can lights and pendant lights. With under cabinet lighting, you can just turn that on and still have your task space lit up.
Timer options, is that?
Timer, dimmer, all that can be done these days.
Well, and again, those are good things in terms of not wasting energy dollars by having something run. You could time it whether it's under the cabinet or however we want to work with it, correct?
Correct. You can have it come on at 5 o'clock when you get home from work and shut off at 7 when you go to bed.
Someone's thinking about this, seeing under cabinet lighting. Is there one thing that you would say before they come to see you, make sure you have that understanding?
I think the main thing is where they're at in the process of wanting to put. This can be done before, during, after construction. It's easier, obviously, to do it during construction, but we kind of need to know where they're at and what their main goal is with the under cabinet lighting.
So the timing does matter, but retrofit, I can certainly retrofit.
Right, yes. Some will come with a plug, so you just plug it into an outlet and away you go.
Well, Kim, you've given us a lot of great information, a lot of things to think about. And if you'd like more options on lighting for your PowerHouse, visit our website, powerhousetv.com. Home offices are more and more common in American homes. Remote work, as well as the efficient operating of households, are conducive when they have a dependent space that allows for both phone calls and paperwork and everything in between. We're going to talk with Lori Wiles of the Wiles Design Group to get her expertise on home office lighting design.
Hi, Pete. Come on in.
Hi, Lori. Thanks for having us in.
Oh, it's great to have you. We've got a wonderful home office to share with you today. Do you want to come this way?
You bet.
This office is really versatile, and I want to share some of the features with you that we built in from the very beginning here.
So what type of things do you take into account, Lori, when you're helping a home office in the lighting design?
The very first thing is we want to be sure that it is perfect for that client. So how are they going to use the space? So in this case, we know that we've got the desk that they want to use, but we've got a lot of different ways that we can use that desk. And then you might even see some of the chairs, so they could have a little bit of a conference with someone. Maybe the two homeowners could be in the space at the same time.
So how does a good design that you're going to bring and light fixtures and all that play into saving energy?
We always look at the source, number one. So in this case, we've used a lot of LEDs, which use less energy. But we're, number one, going to look at having overhead or overall lighting for the space. Then we're going to look at how is the desk surface or any surface used. In this case, we've got a great fixture here that can light this surface. If we were doing a Zoom call, we would add a ring light that lights the face of the person that's on the Zoom call. And we've got some great features on the wall. In this case, we're lighting these beautiful guitars that are meaningful to our clients.
Okay, as I look around the room, I do start up top on the ceiling, and let's begin with recessed cans.
Right. So in the last few years, cans have just become way more versatile. So now they're dimmable, where they weren't when they first came on the market 10 years ago, 12 years ago. Really just been a fast evolution of LED lights. So we're going to light the ceiling, can lights. That gives us great overall wash for the room. The amount goes up and down with our dimmer switch.
I look on the wall, you mentioned the homeowner has these beautiful guitars. Talk to us a little bit about the LEDs behind them.
In this case, we used an LED that has a very warm color temperature, lights the fixture. This one, it doesn't actually give off heat. So it doesn't affect the guitar or as art. So we can really preserve these pieces. It's not giving off some heat that's going to damage the finish.
Lori, with the LED lights here, there's really two parts when you talk about temperature. Can you explain that for us?
Right. So we talked a little bit about Kelvin. So that's the K rating. So that's a color temperature scale. So very warm in the 2000 range to very cool in the over 5000 range. In addition to having a color temperature, there's actually a physical temperature to a light source. So LED has a lower amount of heat that it's putting off, where an incandescent bulb is going to put off a lot more heat for the light source. So we would look at even how are those bulbs affecting the temperature of the room, which impacts your overall energy use.
I look in this room, Lori, and again, I notice the desk on wheels, the chair obviously on wheels. So again, with the window here, how does that come in terms of your design?
This office is very, very versatile. So we can have someone sitting at this desk looking out into the room. This is perfect for a Zoom meeting. This backdrop looks great on camera. And if you're sitting here with a Zoom meeting, of course we might add a ring light or something to kind of flesh out your face, but we can move this desk in front of the window so you can maximize your use of daylight. In commercial interiors, that's called daylight harvesting. We're going to use the light that's naturally available and then reduce the amount of light that we're using within the house, so the fixture is reducing your energy cost. We also have this so that if you're at the window and your back is toward this wall, it also has a beautiful background for zoom.
And all that plays in terms of your design as I think about windows, my lighting, and all of that. As a registered interior designer and the lighting expertise you bring, what can I expect in terms of cost if I want to hire you?
You know, it's different for every situation. If you're doing something very simply, of course the cost is reflected in that. If you want something more complex or to highlight something, then the cost is a little bit higher. But we're so happy to talk to anyone about what they might need and how we might be able to help them.
As a homeowner, I've got your expertise, this beautiful home office and the design lighting you brought to it. How do I keep the efficiency going?
There are just lots and lots of things that we can do. We can put lighting on sensors so that when you're out of the room, it automatically turns off. You're not wasting energy in that way. We can use a ceiling fan like you see here, and that can run and reduce your need for air conditioning. It can also in the winter make it a little bit warmer, kind of depending on the direction of the fan blades.
LEDs have come a long way, dimmable, and also in terms of, again, energy savings, you can have them so they go off if I go out of the room in terms of energy savings.
Right, so the energy is saved in that way. It's also, you can dim that, it reduces the energy consumption. And in general, you don't have to have really as much warmth or if your temperature of your light is a little warmer. So you just feel a little warmer than if you had no light in the room.
For our DIYers watching, the number one thing you would say if I'm going to do my own lighting for my home office, really understand K and Kelvin and the temperature and what that means.
Right. And in addition to that, you want to look at, do you have overall lighting that's going to be at the ceiling? Do you have something in the mid-room? Do you have something that works on your desktop? So those are the key things. You don't want just one single light source.
Lori, thanks for a lot of great information and sharing your expertise with us. And if you'd like more expertise on lighting options for your home office, visit PowerHouseTV.com and AlliantEnergy.com. LEDs, or light-emitting diodes, are today's most energy-efficient lighting technology. LEDs use 90% less energy than incandescent lighting and emit very little heat. In comparison, incandescent bulbs release 90% of their energy as heat.
One of the biggest energy drains in any home is when items powered by electricity are left on when they're not in use. And this can include lights, fans, TVs, video games, really anything we forgot to turn off. And this is where occupancy sensors come to the rescue. I'm going to go learn more. Joining us today to tell us more about occupancy sensors is Gerald from Premier Electric. Thanks for being with us, Gerald.
Thanks for having me.
I have seen sensors like this in office buildings and businesses. Why should homeowners consider installing an occupancy sensor?
Well, the big thing is cost efficiency. Can help on the electrical bill. Other things are the conveniency of the occupancy sensor. From carrying your laundry in with a handful of groceries, trying to get in through the front door, it's just nice to be able to have that switch turn on without a thought, or the chaos of the family trying to get them out for school, and last thing you want on your mind is to make sure everything is off.
Absolutely. Now you have a lot of different devices here. Can you tell us about the different options available?
Yes. So we have the most common wall switch that's going to replace your general wall switch in the home. Can pick up the motion as well as the sound of the person in the room that's occupied. You have the variants that you can set up depending on the sensitivity of the sensor, as well as you can change the durations of the time of the lights turning off after a certain amount of time. You have the capabilities of dimming as well, and then depending on your circumstance, you have a 3-way and a 4-way option as well, so you're not limited. You have the wireless setup as well, which will communicate with additional devices into the home, depending on the angles and stuff that you need to catch the homeowner. You have the wall switch that, depending on you have a couch or you have a bookcase in the way, your wall switch isn't going to see you, you can have this mounted in a corner, certain angles of the wall, or if you just want to make sure that it's not catching certain people walking outside the room and turning it on.
That makes sense.
You have your ceiling mount type 360. This will cover a lot more area, especially if you want to make sure those lights are staying on. And these are very easy to install, all wireless, so it saves a lot of cost in installation. You have your daylight harvesting sensor as well. So this will determine the amount of foot candles coming into the room, and it'll dim the light accordingly to help with the cost efficiency of the lights.
Even greater energy efficiency with that, huh?
Absolutely. And then you have your wall switch as well that you can integrate in with your occupancy sensor to turn off certain devices that you want to turn on only when the room is occupied as well.
Now, Gerald, what's the difference between an occupancy sensor and a vacancy sensor?
So an occupancy sensor more takes on the role of turning on and off the lighting, versus a vacancy sensor, you have to manually turn it on and then it'll turn off during the duration of time setting.
Okay. What kind of rooms or spaces are really the best spots to put this kind of technology?
So big ones are going to be rooms that you're occupied but you don't go back into over a duration of time. Your garage, your laundry room, your closets. It'll save you having to worry about the lights being turned on for days.
It sounds to me like this translates into significant energy efficiency. If lights are going off automatically, what kind of energy savings can homeowners expect to see?
They can see a range from 25% or greater in increase in.
That's great. And do you consider this a do-it-yourself project? You said this one was really easy to install. Is that something I can do myself, or would you recommend a professional do that?
I would recommend an electrician to review the scenario for you. And always with energized circuits, it's nice to have a licensed electrician dealing with that.
Well, speaking of that, why don't you walk us through your process briefly and how long that takes?
Yeah, so we'll identify the situation and the circumstance for each customer, pick the appropriate equipment for the situation, such as a common wall switch. We make sure the circuit's off, replace the wall switch, put in the new wall switch, and then verify that the system is working properly.
If people have pets, can they utilize this technology?
Absolutely. With the adjustment of the sensitivity as well as turning off the sound is the capabilities.
All right. Well, I'm sure you've piqued the interest of a lot of people out there. So if you could give us a broad range on price, including the device as well as the installation.
So the device can range from $60 a greater, depending on the quantity that you're trying to deal with in the situation, plus the installation.
And I imagine each of these is a different price point depending on the scenario.
Absolutely, and product.
Great. Thank you. This is fabulous information.
Yeah.
If you'd like to learn more tips and tricks for making your PowerHouse more energy efficient, visit our website at powerhousetv.com. The motion sensing feature on most lights and security systems is a passive system that detects infrared energy. These sensors are known as PIR, passive infrared detectors, or pyroelectric sensors.
Updating lighting in your home is a good opportunity to upgrade to more efficient fixtures and greater energy savings. In our case, we're going to convert this light to an LED fixture with a conversion kit, and it's a great opportunity for a little DIY demonstration. All LED conversion kits come in different sizes and trim options. You'll need a few basic tools for this project: ladder, drop cloth, needle nose pliers, screwdriver, voltage tester, and your new recessed light fixture, including the housing, baffles, and trim choice. Safety glasses are also helpful to keep drywall dust or other particles out of your eyes. In preparation for updating the fixture, make sure the breaker to the light is shut off. Don't just shut off the switch. Current can still flow through unless the breaker is off. Lay down a drop cloth underneath the fixture you're working on and place the ladder so that you can reach it easily. Once you're certain the power has been cut, you can remove the old fixture housing. Start by removing the bulb so that you can clearly see the housing of the light. Use a voltage tester to again make sure there is no current running to the socket. Pull the trim down gently to remove the housing. Leave the bulb socket and electrical box in place. You may need a screwdriver to help undo the clips. Take the socket adapter from the kit. It has a threaded component like a bulb attached to a couple of wires, and screw the adapter into the bulb receptacle. Connect the wires to the new fixture. Make sure it clicks into place. Use the small U-shaped brackets in the existing recessed housing to guide the new torsion springs into place. Push the fixture into the receptacle until it clicks and the trim ring is flush with the ceiling. LED converter kits can be as simple or as fancy as you choose. Some have smart functions that allow you to adjust your light color temperature in an infinite number of shades right from your phone. Updating to more efficient lighting technology can be simple and fun, and the best part, it can save you money. It's a bright idea for your PowerHouse.
Hey Pete, what's the brightest idea that you got out of this week's PowerHouse?
You know, Megan, we illuminated some great options for under cabinet lighting.
We made our workspaces functional and efficient with fixtures that suit our tasks.
We explored the benefits of occupancy sensors on saving energy dollars.
And we took our DIY skills to some outdated can lights.
Lighting is essential. Make sure it's also efficient. It's a great way to save money in your PowerHouse.